Hey, happy Wine Wednesday.
Happy Wine Wednesday. Sorry, I tried to be careful here. Someone else is recording a video here, but Canadian wine lovers, Carl's Wine Club members, everyone across the country. I hope everyone's having a great Wednesday.
Yes.
Yeah, a little different
Carl, on
environment today.
special location. Where are you, Carl Boucher?
I'm in Beacon Park. So for people from Vancouver Island, here I'm on Beacon Park in Sydney, just outside of Victoria. So I just got off the ferry for a private event here that we're going to do tomorrow with some wine lovers here on the island. So it's pretty exciting. Look at that. How beautiful does it look?
Yeah, it's like tomorrow is December 1st. So it is the time, you guys, to start feeling in the holiday spirit, hey?
Oh, it does for sure feel like holiday spirit around here. Look at that, right?
Ooh, so many
So
lights.
beautiful,
Very nice.
beautiful spot. I'm here.
And you had your fair share of snow today, I heard, on the drive.
The drive was absolutely awful, horrendous. The Coquihalla and all of the first part from the Okanagan down here to the mainland, the lower mainland was awful. Absolutely awful. I missed my first ferry. I didn't get in on the next two, so it was a gong show. But I made it. I made it. I don't have any wine with me, but we're gonna do a heck of a private tasting tomorrow. And guess what, Mira?
What?
It's Code Wines Weeks this week. We're having something pretty cool and pretty unique with Carl's Wine Club. First ever. Like we've never done that before. I've never tasted clonal selection side by side. There you go. Remember what I tasted when you blind tasted me?
Yeah, so last Wednesday live was the first time that we tasted them since we were at the winery in September, right? So we went to the winery in September. We met Shay Code, who's one of the winery owners, along with Harley and their kids there. So when we first heard about them, I actually didn't click that Code is their last name. So,
I know. I mean, first thing here, but the same thing here. I totally thought that was their like the winery name, like the code, the gene code, or no, their last name. Like how cool is that?
Super cool. So they played on that. So like all their wines have the genetic sequence of Pinot Noir actually on there embossed. You can kind of see it in this picture. It's pretty fun. And they went all out in 2016 when they planted their vineyard in Okanagan Falls. They've got the four kinds of Chardonnay, or sorry, Pinot Noir clones.
Exactly. 4 different clones, very distinctive clone of Pinot Noir. 3 who are extremely well known and widely planted in North America. 1 was a little bit more obscure. They had a hard time to find out where's that specific clone, but now they realize it's from Germany. They think it might be from Germany. It may be why I thought it was such a German kind of flavor profile when I tasted it blind. But yeah, really old world. But the Pommard 91, the Dijon 115, Dijon 777, who's on its own was absolutely spectacular, and the Ancestor 01. That's the Ancestor 01. We're not really sure. They're still doing some research about that very specific one. So, yeah.
Super interesting.
So what they do with these 4 clones, 2019, they blended 4 of them. to do their estate blend. In
Yeah.
2020, they used 3 out of the 4 to do their estate blend. So something pretty darn fantastic to taste them side by side, and having all of these wines available at the same time from the same vintage, um, with this exact same oak treatment, exact same process. So yeah, this is just to taste the very typical flavor profile, and like the small details in each and every clones.
And they
When you
are
have
so different. That's what's so weird. Even for someone like me that doesn't have a super trained palate, they were really different. And what was cool is we tasted these live last Wednesday. We tasted them again, I think the next day. Hey,
the
Carl,
next day, yeah,
and I blind tasted you that time. So we had all 5 or 6.
the
We had all
6,
6
yeah,
open. Yeah, we
yeah.
had all 6 open, and Carl didn't know which one was which, and he got almost all of them right, which was
Yeah, I mixed the 2 of them that I was pretty
yeah.
bummed about it, and I should have known about the finish of the Pomar that I reversed with the 115. I was like, darn it, I shouldn't have missed that. But
Still, it's a pretty nerdy thing to do. So if you've ever wondered about clones and wines and why Pinot Noir people are like, oh, I like the Dijon clone, I like the 777, I like the 115. Well, they are very different, and this is your chance to really like see them side by side from the same winemaker, same plot of land, same winemaking style, but you really see like the clonal differences. It's pretty
yeah, it
cool.
was just so cool to have them. And they took the whole concept to the next level, because Shay's a big fan of Syrah. Well, okay, I say Shay here. It might be Haley. I'm not sure which one of the two is a very big fan of Syrah, but they find a single clone of Syrah as well. It's not, I'm not sure exactly which one of the clone, but it's a single clone, and their Syrah is absolutely off the chart. This year with my top 6 Syrah, BC Syrah, this summer that we released, I really enjoy. I really found it. I tried to find the right finger here to not put it in camera. I fell in love with the Okanagan Falls Syrah from Rost, and from it's very nearby vineyard, and that single clone Syrah, when I tasted it at the winery, blind at like all of it, I didn't know what it was, and I rated it 92 points. I was absolutely so impressed. And when I heard it was $35 for that Syrah, I think it's the best price, highly rated Syrah that I tasted this year. Like, it's in the blind, the scene, like a high. I think it's the same score that I gave the Bush Vines, around the same price. So, these are extreme value, because it's hard to find a very good Syrah now for under $45. So that single clone Syrah, if you like old world Syrah, we often like throw that out, like the Côte Rôtie or the Hermitage, but this is truly Northern Rhone style of Syrah. So cool. And to stay in the old world tendencies, or the old world influence of wine, while the Chardonnay, it's a replica of Chablis, like an absolute replica of the unoaked Chablis, zippy, zingy, precise, uh, tans with laser focus, acidity. Is just an amazing thing. So if you like unoaked Chablis style Chardonnay, another of the single clone Chardonnay. So yeah, like cool stuff
Very
from
cool.
Shay Code from Okanagan Falls.
Yeah, and it's funny too. So this is the Code family. We actually met them in Calgary without knowing that we'd cross paths again years later, because our kids went to the same school in Calgary.
Yeah,
So that's pretty neat
exactly. It's
too.
so cool. And now we joined force this year, this week, to showcase what Haley and Shay have been put together in Okanagan
Totally.
Falls.
Now
And
you
and
must be freezing. You're
No,
back.
not so much. I want also you to I want also to highlight
Yeah.
the quantity of production,
Oh,
because this is, when we talk about, there's a few things that I want to mention before we jump into the
interview.
interview that I recorded with Shay. First and foremost, a single clone, they make 22 cases of each. Like, really? 22 cases. And how did we get our hands on? Because their wines are not available anywhere. They're not available in any retail store. They are available in a few restaurants across the Okanagan, a few restaurants in Vancouver. But when we talk with Shay, he was like, yeah, it's such a great opportunity for our brand to be known. So we're the only one here at Cars Wine Club to have the privilege to showcase these 22 cases of each clone and get that on the market. And I want to talk to my friend in Ontario, because to me, the Okanagan, to my opinion, is not necessarily known for their outstanding Pinots. Okay, don't make me wrong. I'm not saying that there's no good Pinot in the Okanagan. Like Spearhead makes fantastic. There's so many great Pinot producers. That's not what I'm saying. But in Ontario, I can they're so they're known for that, right? You go on the Beansville bench and like the hidden bench, and there's producer where they make they've been known around the world for their Pinot production. So anyway, for our people in Ontario who would like to taste something of something unique from the Okanagan, if you're a fan of Pinot Noir, that is the way to go. That's for sure.
It's a really cool pack. Really
Yeah,
cool.
there you go.
Very interesting.
I think I'm going to come back here every week. I love the backdrop. Do you?
It's really festive. Yeah, you're really bringing the spirit here, Carl.
Yeah, next time I should have had a Santa hat, right?
That's the missing. There you go. The one with a bell, or
Oh,
one with a
whatever
lantern.
it is. Just remind me some cool stuff.
Oh yeah. Well, we knew you'd be traveling. Shay Code is traveling today too. Maybe some of you guys are traveling. I don't know, but what we were able to do is just yesterday, or was it yesterday? No, this week
Yeah,
is
yesterday, just before
just before you guys both left. Shay and Carl got together and recorded a little bit of background info for you guys, and it's pretty interesting. I'm excited to listen in. So, should we dive in?
Yeah, and what's the plan for after that? I think the interview is something like 15, 20 minutes. Do you want me to come back for after the interview and chat a little bit more?
Yeah, if you're at the grocery store, you can show us what wines they have at the grocery store. How about that? They might kick you
Wow.
out, but
Not sure about walking in the grocery store recording stuff.
yeah, they might get you in trouble. But that might be fun to watch.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But yeah, it's 25 minutes. So yeah, if you are not stuck in traffic somewhere, hop back on. Otherwise, I'll be here to give you guys a quick glimpse on what Carl has planned for us next, because there's a few more wineries we're featuring, and then we're taking like 3 weeks off for the holidays. So I'll give you a little glimpse on what those wineries are. How about that?
Yeah, and if we can get the link for Code, so before the interview, we're gonna put that right here in the comments. So if you guys want to check it out, the landing page, and read a little bit more about my tasting notes, because the Dijon 777, I give it a 93 points, and not only me, but the pretty hard-nosed Anthony Gismondi, who has a real hard time to give 90 points or more or better to great wines, has rated that Clone 777 Dijon 92 points and called it the second best Pinot, BC Pinot this year. So something pretty freaking cool. John Schreiner gave 91 points to the 2020 blends. Also 92 points of the 777 Dijon. So yeah, there's really highly rated wines in there. So
yeah, very exciting to see a winery right out of the gate doing so well and making such interesting and delicious wines. So yeah, congrats to Shay, and let's hear more about him.
There you go. So we'll connect later.
Owner, winemaker, or vigneron
at Code Wine in Okanagan Falls here in BC. Shay, how are you doing?
I am fantastic, Carl. I'm
Yeah,
fantastic.
welcome to Wine Wednesday. We're gonna talk Pinot Noir. We're gonna talk single clone. We're gonna talk special projects. It's great to have you with us. How's the day so far?
It's fantastic, and thank you. We're really excited to be partnering with you and Mira. So thank you. Excited to be here with you.
You know, there's not a whole lot of people who are doing what you do across the country. Actually, you're the first that I found who work with such a precise portfolio and showing people the small difference in between clones, specific, unique clones of Pinot Noir, and in fact, as well Chardonnay and Syrah. But we're going to focus on to start on the Pinot Noir. So where is the idea other than your last name? Because I think it's extremely interesting that your last name is Code, and we're getting into all of that clonal, varietal, and all that. So where's the idea comes from?
Yeah, thanks. Well, I'm a bit of a nerd, a bit of a geek myself, and when we started the project, we came up with the idea, my wife and I, Harley, that we wanted to be able to share with people the differences between clonal variation. And then we met with our branding guy, Adam Karoluk from Measured Mother, and he walked our site. He listened to kind of what we were thinking about for our project. Obviously, took into account our name. And he came up with this idea of a riff on genetic code. And so that's kind of how it all has come together. And yeah, that label that you just displayed there, the light foil embossing, that's actually the genetic code for the Pinot Noir grape, which again was Adam's idea to riff on genetic code. So yeah, so we started with this idea of wanting to feature this for our clients, and then Adam, through his talents, came up with the branding to kind of pair with the idea, and the idea was born.
There you go. So now with the idea, I want you to take me back, though. 2016, when you found that beautiful piece of land, and how's the evolution between finding the perfect piece of land in Okanagan Falls all the way to the 2022 harvest? Because a lot happened since 2016 in that generous, healthy crop that we had today, this year in 2022, and pretty staggering. So take us through that 6 years of evolution of Code.
Yeah, well, thanks. Yeah, it's hard to believe it's been 6 years, to be honest. Yeah, so developed or used for any purpose. So 10,000-year-old grassland bench overlooking the little village of OK Falls. We planted in 2017, so thing right from scratch. And we planted all the original blocks in 2017. So the 4 Pinot Noir clones, the Chardonnay, and 2 Syrah blocks. And then we were commuting back and forth from Calgary and farming and kind of letting things get established and develop. And then in 2019 was our first vintage. And we were very fortunate to meet Dylan and Penelope Roche, who we did custom crush at their place for 19, 20, and 21. So those are the first wines, and we didn't have any of the branding done. So we just bottled everything, put it in storage. They were all shiners and waited for our branding ideas to catch up. And then we built our home and our little winery building in 2021, and then got our winery license. And then in 2022, we were very fortunate to be able to make our own wines on our own property, still with the help of Dylan and Penelope, but we crushed everything here. And yeah, we just finished barreling the last of the wine yesterday. And yeah, so that's the 6 or 7 years in a minute or two.
Yeah, I love that chronological cycle of events. That's pretty amazing. But I have a very specific question. So, you know, now you're getting to know where you're at. You're getting to know your environment. What makes Okanagan Falls special?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, you know, we've got fantastic soils, and of course they're not all uniform, but the soils that we've got, and you know, some of our closest neighbors, a little bit of loam on top of very gravelly soils that were laid down, you know, when the ice age retreated, and you know, all the back eddies and whatnot deposited a lot of gravels, and that's our site, or the predominance of our site is a bit of sandy loam over top of these extremely well-drained, you know, gravelly soils. And as you know, vines, they love that kind of profile. It's really hard to start the vines. So to get them established has been a challenge, but you know, once established, they absolutely love that kind of profile. So I think that's got a lot to do with it. And our profile between kind of the far south of the valley and the north, you know, we're a bit warmer, obviously, as you come south down the valley, and you know, the varietals that we've got planted absolutely love it here. So I think kind of combination of all those things, terroir, as the French say. But yeah, combination of soils and weather, I think really make OK Falls very special.
And you have some pretty famous neighbors as well, like with the Mira family vineyard. You have Synchromesh right above you. So you're right on the like in the triangle with some pretty darn amazing names around you. You guys are exchanging a lot among each other, or it's a little bit more like everyone for each other and keeping the secrets for yourself?
Oh, no, very, you know, very collegial. Our neighbors have been tremendously supportive. Jack and Janice from Meyer and their winemaker Chris Carson have been extremely supportive. They allowed us to take our plant clippings, many of our clippings out of their vineyards. So many of the clones that they have, we propagated and we planted here. So yeah, the industry is wonderful that way. Super supportive, and everybody wants everyone else to succeed, and you know, the whole idea of the ocean rising all the boats together kind of thing. So that's how it feels.
Love that saying. I love it. Let's get back to to what you do specifically in the vineyard, because I've tasted Ancestor 01, Palmar 95, 115 Dijon, 777 Dijon, all beside each other, and there is a tremendous difference between each of every clone of these wines. And funny enough, because they're all from the 2020 vintage, all the same barrel treatment, pretty much all of the same treatment across the board. And when you get them in the glass, on the nose, on the palate, these little guys here from all the same mom and same dad, like they are tremendously different. So explain to me, like how's that happen?
Well, yeah, that's one of the great mysteries, right? Like, and I'm so excited to hear you say that, because that was the vision when we started, is to be able to allow our customers to experience, you know, are these Pinot Noir clones, are they actually different, or is that a marketing thing, you know? And to your point, we farm identically, and virtually all those Pinot blocks are on the same soil profile. Of course, as you know, we farm organically, but we farm the same across the entire vineyard. And like you said, winemaking was identical, the cooperage identical. And so the differences that you're speaking about, which again is so exciting that that you're able to articulate that, all comes down to these different Pinot Noir clones. So yeah.
Yeah, and we're talking about, when we talk about purity, right? Purity of fruit in the nutshell. That's what we're talking about here. And if I can, like in a quick flash, like express what I've tasted in front of Mira's eyes a couple days ago, it was the Ancestor 101 took me like in the European mountain, either like a Pinot Nero or a German style of Pinot Noir, cold climate style, more in licorice, earthiness, barnyard. And that was like, to me, that was the structure. I saw like a structure, I saw backbone into that. And after that, to the Palmar 96, Palmar 95, completely the opposite. This is the warm, California style, juicy, lots of fruits, spicy on the back end. I was like, okay, this is my new world right there. And I got to the 2 Dijon, and 115 was all elegance, all finesse and elegance, that little gentle bone, like bone style. So it just was showing up, and I get to the 777. It was complexity, depth, like the more I would say intellectual type, like complexity, trying to dig deep into it, and spice and all of that. So in a nutshell, that's what I got on the flash. So now you're the dad here. You're the one who put these one to birth. You need to tell me, Carl, what the heck are you on? Like, well, what's wrong with you? You didn't get it at all. But did I got that right?
Oh, I think, yeah, I think you nailed it. Like that to me is a bullseye, the way you articulate all these wines. Yeah, so I think you've picked up on all these nuances and characteristics that we're seeing and we're hearing from our clients. But I think you've nailed it. I think this is it. So awesome.
I did. That's at Mira. I hope you're correct. She's down in COVID. She can taste anything. So I'm just on my own and doing my thing. And she's like, yeah, I hope you're right. Yeah, no, that was, and to me, it was such an experience to do that, to have these 4 clones side by side. It was a really amazing experience on its own. And that's why we want to tell Carl's Wine Club's members that if you're a Pinot lover, oh man, that is a fun thing to do. Just that you have it in front of your eyes. The difference, it's staggering. The difference is amazing. And that you cannot, like, I couldn't myself expect that much of difference. It was really impressive.
Yeah, right on. Well,
and that's funny. And when we get, but when we get to the 2, and also, so now we're seeing on all the 2020, the difference into the clones. But there's also one thing that was very interesting. And when we look at the 2 blends, your estate blend 19 versus 20, what I found there, it's the vintage typicity. 19 versus 20 was such on display on this very specific 19 side by side with 20, where the warm 2020 was much richer, much more on fruit, more density into it, and the 19 was a little bit more on the colder side, bright acid, perfumey, a little bit more Burgundian style versus the little bit more New World 2020. Again, what do you think of the assessment?
Yeah, again, I think I'm sounding patronizing here, but I think you nailed it. And probably the one other dimension is just the age of the vines. So 19 was our first crush, so the vines were only 3 years old, and then 20, it's just 1 year, one more year older. So I think between the weather and also the age of the vines as they're of course maturing, just comes into play there. But yeah, I think that's your assessment of the profile of the wines is, I think, bang on.
There's one more thing I want to chat about. There's maybe 2, because I'm a big Chardonnay fan. I love Chards, and having the chance to taste that snapshot of Chablis right from our backyard here in Okanagan Falls, the minerality and just the purity of fruit of your single clone Chardonnay was pretty cool. I really enjoyed it, and exactly like it really was a trip to Chablis when I tasted that. So on oak Chardonnay. So what was the vision when you get to press the fruits of the Chard?
Yeah, that's what we were going for. So thank goodness showing up at the bottle. But yeah, that's the style that we personally really quite like. So pure, no oak, stainless steel ferment, and then 9 months in stainless steel tank, and then into bottle. And we're really excited and pleased about the way that one turned out. And it's awesome. Like that wine in the summer on the patio, is absolutely fantastic, and it pairs nicely. I think you probably talked about this in your tasting notes, but anything kind of seafood. We found like a Caesar salad. We had that this summer with a little spritz of lemon. Just fantastic.
Oh, yeah. No. And to me, it's a little geeky as well, right? Like, because there's this layer of mineral and crushed gravel, and like that's a little geekiness in there as well that like makes it a little bit more, I would say like scratching your head about the different layer. I love that. I love when a wine challenge me, and that's the quintessence of Chablis to me. Chablis always make me sit and like it's like try to figure this one out, and that's that kind of a feeling I had when I got to this wine.
That's awesome. I'm glad.
And the one more, hey.
I'm glad we're making you work on these wines.
Oh, absolutely. Nothing's easy in life. I try to tell my children all the time. And also I need to prove our members that I do some work sometimes, right? And the Syrah. So the Syrah is a pretty cool thing. Mira and I, both of us are pretty, we love our Syrahs. We love the different expression of Syrahs. And I discovered through Rust Wine Co. were based in Oliver with their new terroir pack. They have one coming from Okanagan Falls, and it was part of my top 6 Syrah of the Okanagan this year because I love the old world expression of that Syrah, lower alcohol. And when I tasted what you've done, I totally connected the dot, totally. And now it tells me that this is, I think, the true reflection of the Okanagan Falls terroir.
Right. Yeah. That's exciting. And yeah, I mean, I think we're finding more and more just really awesome Syrah coming out of the valley, and great to hear about the Rust one. Yeah, I mean, I think like personally, those are my favorite Syrah styles. So again, I'm glad that that's showing up in the bottle.
The Northern Rhone, right? The Northern Rhone. These are the world classic. Hey, I'm not saying that Washington State or Australia are not making great Syrahs. That's not what I'm saying there. But the classics are the classic, right? Hermitage, Côte Petite, these very fantastic appellations. These are like lower alcohol, perfumey, but also they have these classic notes, and we got that in what you do. What's the barrel program? Do you do something a little different when it's in terms of Syrah?
One tiny little bit, but primarily French oak. But there is a very, very small amount of American oak. And the history of that is Harley had purchased a tiny barrel, a 40-liter barrel from Okanagan Barrel Works, which was a cooperage in the Okanagan Valley here. And that was the last year they were in business, though. So she bought this like 10 years ago. It was an anniversary gift for me, long before we had started this. And it was a little 40-liter American oak barrel. And when we made the 2019 vintage, we had such small amounts that Dylan, our winemaker, had said, "You've got to find like a tiny little barrel." And so I looked all over the place, and I said, "Well, I've got this barrel that Harley bought for me like 10 years ago. Do you think that would work?" And he's like, "Well, we'll give it a try." So we hydrated it in the bathtub and brought this little guy to life. And so the anniversary barrel still remains as part of the overall program in 2019 and 2020. And also in 21. So, but it is primarily French oak with a little sentimental splash of American oak from that little mini barrel. So,
you know what? That's the code signature. Now every winery, every wine has a little like house signature.
Yeah.
This one has to be. It has to be. Listen, this is the 92 points Carl's Wine Club, and there's a reason, because when I rate wine, I just want to clarify. When I rate wine, I always put the price in the equation. The price is one of the factor, one of the parameter for me when I rate wines. It has to be, because you know what? If you have a wine $100, my expectation is completely different of a $34.95 wine. The expectations are different because we don't want the money that I fork out of my pocket is triple the price. So I'm expecting more out of $100 wine. And, you know, I got a lot out of a 34, out of the price point of you charge for that Syrah. I know that when I talk like that to my maker, the members always reply, stop saying that. It's going to increase the price. Stop it. But yeah, this is probably one of the top 3 Syrah Valley. No doubt about that. You can't find Syrah at that price anymore. You just can't. Yeah. So tasting that, to me, first and foremost, the structure is outstanding. The purity of fruit is outstanding. There's that Okanagan Falls minerality, and like that really like the typical. Everything is right there, and the price point is absolutely outstanding. So I love that. So you are not putting the Syrah out there on its own. There's a little 3-pack that you do. It's pretty cool. So
yeah, our branding guy, Adam Carolla, came up with the idea of the gene pool for clients that want to have a little sample of everything. And so, yeah, so it includes the Syrah, 2020 Syrah, the 2020 Pinot Noir Estate Blend, and the 2020 Chardonnay. So, yeah, you get a little opportunity to taste everything that's in our portfolio. And, yeah, nice little package.
There you go. So both of these packages are available this week with Carl's Wine Club. The clone collection, the 6 bottles, the 4 single clone, plus the 2019 and the 2020 estate blend. You got the gene pool with the Chard, the Syrah, and the 2020 estate Pinot. Double up the gene pool to make it to 6 bottles. You got a great deal on shipping. Double up these 6 bottles to free shipping for 12. I like the way you think, Shay. That's pretty cool. And by the way, I want to tell all of our members, I'm not the only one who really, really, really appreciate Code's Wine Life, because I rated between the 89 and 92 points. So these wines are highly rated. Even 93 for the 777 clone that I give 93, 92 for the Syrah. I give 91 to the Pomar. So all really, really highly rated. But also Anthony Gismondi, our friend Tony, spoke about the 777 Dijon. That's one of his top 10 Pinot Noir from BC this year, right?
Yeah, we're very humbled by the recognition from yourself and the other wine critics, and actually we were really totally blown away. We tied for the #2 Pinot on Gismondi's list, and we were in unbelievable company with many of the other top flight Pinot producers. So we couldn't be more grateful for the recognition. You know what? It's a great start. Year 2, I would say, first year on your own. I have to tip my hat to you and Haley. You guys are doing a great job. You are putting yourself in the big names of our Okanagan wine industry. So way to go, Shay. It's great to feature your wine this week. We're excited. And thanks again for spending time with us. Awesome. Well, thank you. And thanks to Mira. We're really excited to be partnering with you guys. So thank you. Thank you. You have a great day. You too. Cheers.
What a cool story, hey? My favorite's got to be about that little barrel. I'm so glad they kept that in the program, I guess, for the second vintage.
Well, when he told the story at first, like we were at the winery, I was like, all right, this is a joke. It can't be true. And yeah, it is really, really cool. Hey, sorry, I'm back inside. I'm in the car because I think my phone doesn't like the island humidity or something. It drained all the battery.
Oh no, like right away.
Yeah,
that's
so
crazy.
Yeah,
Good thing you have your new phone. Your new phone just arrived. So
there you go.
There you go. Yeah. So now that we know a little more about the clones, about Code Wines, finally, because I've heard so many things, as a new wine drinker about clones, and I had no idea what really that entails other than farmer speak, like, oh, this one's better when it gets really cold, and this one's better when there's ladybugs or whatever it is, right? But now, like, I've had this experience of tasting them side by side, and I highly recommend it because you learn a lot.
Mira, do you remember when we were at Vineland with Brian Schmidt? We were, when we tailgated with him, we went into the boutique vineyard, and on one side we had the Cabernet Franc with one clone, and the other side it was a different clone. We tasted from each and every row the different clone of Cabernet Franc, and I clearly remember the very difference of typicity in each and every of these wines. So, I'm sorry.
Yeah, 214 and 327.
Oh, Brian is here. He's here. Speaking about the devil, I didn't even know. Oh, that's awesome. I feel stupid here sitting in the car. Maybe I should go back outside in my festive spot.
See how long I can last. We just want to give everyone a little glimpse of what's coming up, and then we'll let you go to your merry way. Someone's asking if I can drink wine sitting here or just spit it out. I have COVID, so I taste nothing. It's horrifying. I do have to drink wine every day just to see if the tastes have come back, but they haven't really yet. The only thing I can taste right now is bacon. I can taste the salt in bacon. I'm eating a lot of bacon, trying to pair it with my wines, but the wines, I can't taste much right now. So I'm glad it hasn't affected you, Carl, because you picked out 4 out of 6 clones of Pinot Noir, tasting them blind. So clearly you're not COVID-ified. But anyways, what's coming up here? So we've got Code Wines this week, super limited release.
Wait a minute. Okay. Let me get the Christmas tree here.
Yeah. So what's really coming up is it's like December 1st tomorrow. This is it.
There you go.
Christmas.
There you go. So what's coming up next week? Okay, we have something really cool coming next week. We have Rennie Wines. So Graham Rennie with Rennie Wines out of Niagara, out of Vineland, Niagara. We're going to taste Appassimento. We have a full flight of Appassimento wine and also a Chardonnay, a spectacular Chardonnay. We have a Bordeaux blend Appassimento. We have a Cabernet Franc Appassimento, and we have a also a Cab Sauv Appassimento. So these are not available anywhere yet. Only at the just getting released this weekend at the Niagara Custom Crush Studio. Cool project. And I think this year, 2022, my #1 wine of the year. So far, the highest rated wine is the Colleen Appassimento from Graham Rennie. Obviously not available anymore, but I think we have the new baby Colleen available this weekend. So freaking cool. The samples arrived today with no labels, because the labels are going to be put on the bottles tomorrow.
Yep. I should go grab them. Keep talking. I'm going to go grab them.
Keep talking. Okay. So this weekend, on Sunday, VIP are going to receive the really first ever offer of Rennie Wines on all direct-to-consumer platform. Never been available anywhere but at Malivoire Winery prior to that. So it's going to be really cool. Second, after that, we're going to do our last feature of the year with Lunescence Winery out of Summerland. There you go. You got it. They arrived.
Yeah, they did. This is the Rennie.
That's the G. That's the brand new release of the G. So Bordeaux blend Appassimento.
But this is the best part, okay? First people in the country to see these bad boys. No labels yet.
That is so cool. So they arrived, what, a few hours after I left?
No, just a few hours ago.
A few hours ago, eh?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. So yeah, the Christine 2017 was one of the top Chardonnay this year. So full on natural yeast and like natural ferment and like
the new one that I'm excited to taste, the 2018.
Funny enough, I'm having a call right now. Graham is calling me on the other line, so I bet that he tuned in and he's hearing me talking about his wine. He's like, I need to call that guy. So
you can only be in one place at one time, though. Shoot.
Yeah, exactly. Jump live, Graham, if you want to talk. Okay, I'm busy here.
Nice.
So after that's coming out next week. Hopefully he's not calling me say pull the plug on that offer, because I am way too excited. We spent a lot of time with,
and like they haven't been able to sell them for a little while because of the move to the Niagara Custom Crush Studios. So
well, exactly, right. So the whole process has to be followed to bring the wine to life. Like anyway, so it's a long process. So Brian is helping here. Brian, always helpful. Thank you. So after we feature the Rennie wine next week, we're gonna finish the year with Lunescence. Our neighbor, we live like 5 minutes from the winery. We're going to be talking with Taylor. He is the new winemaker there. But we're going to taste some Viognier, some Chardonnay, who won gold at the All Canadian this year. One of their rosé for the turkey dinner, but also some of their new red release. So Lunescence. But also we might have a little flash feature of a brand new Petit Verdot, 100% Petit Verdot has just been released. The first ever. No one has ever touched it yet. We're going to be the first in the country to have you offer it. Red Rooster. So we just had a little phone call a couple of days ago, see if we were interested in doing something like that. So maybe fans of Petit Verdot gonna have a little surprise coming your way before Christmas. So we'll see. Also, fun. Mira, we have other stuff available.
I wanted to mention a couple quick things. So if you are looking for glassware, we found the most amazing glass that we have been raving about for over a year now, and it's back in stock. Now almost sold out again, but there's still some left of the Gabriel glass. And they come in stemless now as well for a fraction of the price. So this is really good if you are looking for Christmas gifts for someone who's a wine lover. This wine glass is going to totally blow them away. Love it. And these are the stemless versions. So I'll drop a link in the comments for anyone looking for glassware. Also, if you want to send wine to anyone you know that doesn't live near you, skip the lines at the post office. Canada Post rates have gone up. We have spoken to a few wineries that are willing to ship 1, 2, or 3 bottles for you guys. And I know a lot of members are starting to take advantage of that because it's December 1st tomorrow, and we're realizing, shoot, we're not going to have time in the next week or so to get to the post office. So that's some of the Christmas gifting options we have for you guys.
There you go. So yeah.
Excellent. Well, I hope you have fun there on the island with your big event tomorrow.
Yeah.
And,
if I haven't spent 6 hours waiting for the next ferry and spend 6 hours trying to drive to the ferry because I was in the freaking monsoon of a freaking snowstorm, I would have been way more ahead of the curve and not sitting in the cold here pretending to be festive. But yeah. You
are very festive. Everything happens for a reason, doesn't it?
Absolutely. So here I'm downtown Sydney in Victoria. I have to go shopping right now. No, not for Christmas gifting. I have to go shopping for cheese and charcuterie to set up all of our stuff for tomorrow's tasting with our private client here of Carl's Wine Club here on the island in Victoria. So yeah.
Good thing we have family out there, don't we? So
yeah, it's a great thing.
Yes. All right. Well, Cheers, wine lovers. Hope you have a great night. Thanks for stopping
Mira,
by.
thanks for holding the fort. Greatly appreciate. Thanks a million. You are so good. So good, so
You
good.
too.
Brian Schmidt, thanks for tuning in. Graham Rennie, everyone, all of our wine lovers across the country. It is Code Wine Week. Clonal selection of 4 different clones of Pinot Noir, all made the same way. They're available all week here. With small batches wine. So yeah, have a great week, wine lover. We're gonna be in touch. Mira, my phone is dying. I'm at 1%. You're gonna lose me.
Nice look. Cheers. Have a great night.